Go again. Your seats come loose.
My seat! Mastermind seat. So, what do you think of his channel?
Excellent.
What is your favourite food?
Prawns.
What is your second favourite food?
Broccoli.
Whose channel, what is the most liked channel you like?
Dan TDM.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but anyway. What is your favourite type of tractor?
Oh. The one Daddy's got.
What is the one Daddy's got?
This one.
What is this
Ferguson TED20.
TED20.
A TED. I knew it involved those letters.
TED20. What is your favourite colour?
Ferguson red.
They aren't usually red.
But this one is. Ferguson green.
That's John Deere you're talking about. Silver.
Silver. Okay.
Grey.
Grey.
Grey silver, same thing.
And not the same thing.
What is your favourite number? From 1 to 1.
1.
What's your favourite number from 1 to 2?
2.
What's your favourite number in all of infinity?
Oh, that's a tricky one. There's so many to choose from.
There is an infinite amount to choose from.
Google. A Google is a number, isn't it? I thought it was.
Oh yeah. Google is your favourite number.
I think so.
Let's Google that.
Here we have Oscar Perry in the University Challenge Mastermind seat. Oscar Perry, what is your favourite channel on YouTube?
Iscal85.
Oscar Perry, what is the most popular Minecraft channel on YouTube?
Dan TDM.
Is it really? What is the longest anyone has played Minecraft non-stop?
I feel like it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Or more.
Or more. What's your favourite number from 1 to infinity?
5,000 Googles.
What's your favourite colour?
John Deere green.
Ooh, controversial. Thank you very much, Oscar Perry. We have Gordon Perry, aka Waterhouse Forde, in the mastermind chair. Gordon Perry, what year was the TED20 first manufactured?
1946.
Gordon, what
4.
was the most popular colour in Ferguson's?
You could have any colour you like as long as it was grey.
When did the Ferguson red come about?
Sometime in the 60s.
The year?
I don't know. 66 perhaps.
66 perhaps. What's the favourite year? No, what is your favourite tractor?
Oh. There's too many to choose.
You've got to choose one. If you had to choose one, if your life depended on it, which would you choose?
Probably a large international.
A large international.
Like the 900 series.
Why?
Just very capable. Very
Okay.
big.
Very big.
That's what I was thinking.
What engine size is your Ferguson TED20?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe it's a 2.4 cc, which which means it's around, this is the Ferguson, right?
Yeah.
Which I believe is around 32 horsepower. Which, thereabouts.
Okay.
Maybe high 20s.
And the last question, what's your favourite YouTube channel?
Waterhouse Forde.
No! Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Waterhouse Forde. Well, it's been a very long time since we last published a video. In fact, the last video was published on the 21st of May, and today is the 16th of August, so quite a few months have gone by. Now, we've not made any progress on the Ferguson in all of that time. The last thing we did on tractors was the International, where we were doing all the annual checks on the front axle. We did also get into the wheel bearings on the International, but we never ended up publishing that video. So I might tack it onto the end of this video, because it turns out they were absolutely fine, and the video was a bit short to publish. Anyway, we've been doing lots of other jobs. I'm going to try and show you little bits of them through this video, and I've got a list here. I had to make a list because there's too many to remember. The first thing that we did was we built a dog grooming salon. I'm going to take you upstairs in a minute and show you that. Kathy has taken up dog grooming. She's been training, and she now has a dog grooming salon called the what?
The Muddy Dog Salon.
Called the Muddy Dog Salon. So if anybody in the local area needs the dog grooming,
bring them to me.
Look us up. She's on Facebook. Part of that, though, or towards the end of that, we also realised that we needed to basically recondition the grooming table that came with all the equipment that she bought second-hand. So we landed up stripping the grooming table, and again I'll show you some footage of the grooming table now that it's finished, and show you a few of the little things that we did, a few of the improvements that we made. But the main job really was stripping and painting, and it took absolute age to strip the paint off of it. The paint was horribly chipped and rusting in places, so it was impossible to repaint it without first stripping it, and that took a heck of a long time. But we got it all done. The other thing I'll show you very quickly. We also, obviously with COVID, I've been working from home permanently, and I needed to kind of sort out my office, make it a bit more presentable, because obviously almost every single call is now a video call, or every single meeting is now a video call, and I needed to make that a bit more presentable, so I'll show you that as well. And then we've had a massive tidy up here in the workshop, and again we'll do a pan around the workshop in a minute and talk about some of the stuff that we've done. But that was quite a mission, because it took a very long time to sort through everything and get it all repacked, sorted and reorganized in the workshop, which include putting up a whole bunch of shelves, so I'll show you that as well. More recently, we've been doing firewood, preparing firewood for not for this winter, but for next winter. Although that did mean that we had to get last year's firewood out and get that up into the firewood store up by the house. So we'll show you that as well. And as part of that, we've been trimming trees and taking down a few trees that were beginning to, they had started falling over, and some that were leaning terribly over the paddock to the point that it was difficult to mow underneath them. So we've taken those out, at least on one side of the paddock so far, and of course that's where the firewood has come from. What else have I got? Also in the workshop we put up some LED lighting, or basically we replaced all the lighting, so it's now all LED, and hopefully that's going to improve the amount of light in the workshop here, which will obviously help with the videos, but also basically because we have no windows in this space, it's absolutely essential that we've got good lighting down here, just for being able to see what you're doing, especially as I'm getting on a bit now. And then the final thing is we bought Oscar a small quad bike, and again we'll show you some footage of him riding that and having some fun with that as well. that's his little project and the thing that he wanted to do. So that is a replacement for the go-kart that I've been promising to build him for years. In the end, we decided just to go with the quad bike instead and save the time and effort. And I think he is happy with that. He certainly seems to be having a lot of fun with it. So we'll show you doing all of that. Yeah, a couple of thumbs up there. So yeah. Anyway, look, that's I think is the list. I'm sure there were a million other things that we've been doing through the summer. That's the problem with this kind of channel, and more importantly, this kind of property, is that there are many things that need doing, especially in the summer, when it's a good time to do those things, and that does mean that we can't make as much progress on the Ferguson as we'd like. But the good news is that I think we're through all of that now, and starting this coming weekend, we will be doing restarting with the first video on the Ferguson, which will be we'll start the engine rebuild, possibly the cylinder head, but we'll have a look and work out which way we're going to go first. What I'll probably do, and I probably will film, is checking the cylinder head. We want to make sure that the cylinder head is perfectly true, which we have not done yet, and also we need to make sure that the top of the block is perfectly true as well. So I will show you perhaps at the start of the next video how to do that. It's very quick and easy, and then we'll go forward from there. So we'll take you around and show you all these amazing things that we've been up to. We hope that you enjoy, but the main thing and the main news for this video is that we're about to restart, and we hope that you look forward to the videos that are coming. So here we are. This is the dog grooming salon. It's basically installed in the shed. You can see there's the rest of the shed, and we just took one corner. Coming in, we've then had to install a bath for obviously bathing the dogs, so the dogs come up these stairs. We built those stairs. The dogs come up onto this countertop over here, and then across and into the bath. We then installed this. I can't remember what size it is, but it's the highest kilowatt shower that we could find, and obviously that meant we had to bring water into the shed. So we had to bring water up comes up from that corner there, all the way up and across to the shower. Obviously, luckily, just cold mains and electric shower, so that's okay. We also had to have all the electrics done for that, so that's a special 60 amp I think it is cable, and that has a separate circuit in the distribution board there with all the appropriate protections. This table obviously goes up and down. It rouses on an electric motor. It's a screw thread lift mechanism. Goes up. So you can see you've got kind of like a scissor action going on there, and there's an electric motor with a screw thread mechanism. So, and as I said in the intro, all the paint on here was terribly chipped, and in fact underneath this tabletop was all rusted, all underneath here. Obviously from years of use. So we stripped it down. We took it apart completely, and as I said, we also then stripped the paint off of all the metal parts and resprayed it. And then a few improvements that we made. So it pivots obviously on this bar, and again on that one, and the same over there and there. Now, previously these had those push-on caps that prevented the bar from coming out. They impossible to get off and then put back on. So what we've done, we've drilled through and we put roll pins in there. But more importantly, what we've done, this thing pivots on this bar, and there's no way of lubricating that bar. So we've installed little grease nipples, and on these two, we had to make an extension basically for the grease nipple to sit in. Otherwise, the nipple, the end of the grease nipple, the threaded bit, was actually pushing onto the bar. So what we did, this basically screws in there, and then the grease nipple screws onto that. And I machined these on, they're just aluminium, and I machined them on the metal lathe. So just installed some grease nipples, and then on this side we were able to put the grease nipple straight in the center of the tubing there, and that there was enough space there for those to go in. So yeah, so we're hoping that that's going to be a lot more serviceable now, and obviously the painting means that hopefully it's extended its life. Anyway, so that's the salon. Kathy's been using it. She's done numerous dogs now, and her order book is filling up nicely, so we're very pleased about that. And so far everything seems to be working exactly as designed. So this is the tidied up workshop. As you can see, we've now got a lot of space all the way in front of the Ferguson. This area hasn't been touched really, that's still pretty much as it was. The main thing I wanted to do was over here, obviously to clear the workbench, and that doesn't look particularly clear at the moment, but it's a heck of a lot clearer than it was. Get all the tools up onto the tool racks over there, and also populate the toolbox that we've got over here. And then what I did is I bought these extra shelves, the 3 bays, and moved all of our, well, pretty much all of our stuff onto those shelves. So before we had, I'll just move back a bit here. We had a cupboard there where the metal lathe was. We then had to move, when the metal lathe came, we moved it here to where the bandsaw is, and the bandsaw was sort of over here where the mower is. And we had another saw over there. And it made the workshop very dark. More importantly, it was essentially too busy. That cupboard wasn't actually big enough anyway. And then I also had those plastic shelves at the end there. So what we've done, we had some wooden shelves here, but there was only like basically 2 shelves. We took those out. They're now over there, and we've put them 4 instead of, because there were 2 long ones. Now there's 4 shorter ones. And then we've put all of our equipment, hardware, ironmongery, tools, pretty much everything on these shelves. Obviously supplies at the top there, and then on the extended that over onto the plastic shelf, so we've got all our bits and pieces, electrical bits, tapes, decorating stuff, all that. And then in that corner there is all my wood for wood turning. There's an old mower in front of it, so you can't see all of it, I'm afraid, but you can see some of the rounds there that have been aging, and that's all poplar. It's not great wood for turning, but it comes in handy for the odd bits here and there. There's a large chunk there. You can see that was cut in October 2013. It's been aging ever since. I think most of you have seen the metal lathe that we got. What was it? December. So obviously made a proper table for that, and got that all installed and cleaned up. And of course we still have the wood turning lathe over here, and it doesn't get used much these days, but it's there when and if we want to, or if we need it. One other thing is I picked up this oil filled welding machine, arc welding machine at a local auction. It works absolutely fine. All I had to do was basically just clean up the cables, really, redo the terminals at the end, and yeah, it works lovely, and it's obviously much better than those air-cooled ones like this one here, which basically overheats after about 5 minutes of welding. This thing will go for ages, and doesn't seem to bother it at all, which is fantastic. So a lot more cleaning needs to happen on this workbench here. We've got all the chargers over there, and then we've got the pillar drill. That welder needs to come out of there, make some space, and we'll get that workbench cleaned up. So that's next on the agenda. This one is a lot clearer. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you would have seen how cluttered this was. It's a little bit cluttered at the moment. We've just finished painting a set of shelves, and so there's just a few bits lying around from that job. And yeah, that's so again, looking over towards where the Ferguson is, the bay where we do the Ferguson. As you can see, lots of spray painting been going on, and despite trying to cover the floor, the overspray has got everywhere. We did have cardboard. We tried to make like a cardboard box walls. And then we had sheets hanging from the ceiling, from that piping, but nevertheless the overspray did get out, and has basically covered everything. If we look at the Ferguson, you can see a white sheen over everything, and obviously we did cover all the parts that were the engine parts, which are all underneath that cardboard. And over here we've got the engine block still on the engine stand, and that's covered. One of my old fleeces. You can see that's sitting there nicely, still oiled. And we've got the cylinder head down here, again covered up, and also nice and oiled, so should be absolutely fine. But yeah, you can see the white on the tyres and on the bonnet there. Lots of overspray. When we come to paint the tractor, we're definitely going to have to build a proper bay in here. Obviously it can't be permanent, but we will have to make it airtight essentially. You can see here we had this covered. This was part of the walls that I've mentioned, the cardboard walls, and we folded them over, taped them onto here, but you can see the difference there. That's the overspray basically and how it's come through. We will get that off. It's yeah, you can see it's not difficult. It will come off, but just a bit of elbow grease needed. So yeah, look, that's the workshop. That's all the improvements we've made. Predominantly, it's been obviously getting those shelves and getting everything reorganized and restacked, repacked, and essentially clearing this bay so that we've got space to work in here. I mentioned the LED lighting. I don't know how this is going to come out on the camera, but these are they're like 60 by 60. They normally have 4 fluorescent tubes in them. I think they went that way. These are just panel lights, LED panel lights. It's a much higher color. I think it's not frequency, it's a color temperature, I think they call it. I think these were 2300K. So that gives a much whiter light, and everything looks much fresher down here now. I don't know, again, I don't know if you'll pick it up on the camera, but that's a heck of a lot more light in here than there was before. And then on this side we had fluorescent tubes. Those have all now been replaced with LED tubes. They're LED replacement tubes. All you have to do is replace the starter with the starter that comes with the tube and pop it straight in, and it just works. So there's no rewiring required or anything silly like that. So that was real simple. And again, these are 2600 K temperature, light temperature, and I think they were 13 or 1400 lumen. So again, quite bright. I noticed this morning one of them is not coming on. That one over there is not coming on. So I need to work out what's going on there. I've tried to play with it and check the starter, but it's not coming on. So we need to work out whether it's a tube or whether it's something else. So yeah, that's the workshop. Then the final thing I wanted to do in here, you would have seen already this mower. This is a John Deere. Let's have a look here. Got the bonnet here. So I'll turn the John Deere LT170. We've just acquired this. This is our neighbours, or was our neighbours. We've just bought it from them. It looks like the gasket has gone between the engine block and the crankcase, or kind of like the sump down in there. You can't see it all that well just yet, but and they just got fed up with it. They decided to replace it with something new, and of course we then picked it up. And the idea is to, well, first of all, to get the engine sorted out. We'll get that fixed, and then we'll work out what we're going to do with it. One option is basically to remove the deck. The deck is a bit poorly. It's you can see here, I think it's terribly corroded down there, and the same on the other side. I haven't even looked underneath it, so I don't know what condition the blades are in. So one option would be to simply remove the deck and just use this as a little bit of a runaround, almost like a towing tractor around the property. So that's one option. Also, again, as I'm getting older, I'm also getting lazier, so maybe I'll use it just to scoot around rather than having to walk everywhere. But you can see the state of this engine. Actually, I think the engine is fine, but it just hasn't been particularly well looked after. You can see that's the fuel filter, and you can see that hasn't been changed or cleaned for, must be years. So yeah, it probably just needs a little bit of TLC, and my expectation is that we'll get it running well again, and then we'll decide which way we're going to go. The other option that I am considering, I suppose I could try and sell it. I suppose that's another option. And then the final option would be to basically strip it and sell the individual components. But I think at the moment my favorite idea, or my favorite thought, is basically to fix it up and use it as a bit of a runaround. So yeah, that's another project that we got on. Now, I'll be interested to see if you could let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would people be interested in us filming this and essentially running it as a separate series on the channel? It'll obviously be done in parallel with the Ferguson, so something along the lines of, you know, each week we might do one Ferguson video and one John Deere LT170 video, if people are interested. If you're not, that's fine, but we're going to be doing it anyway, and I thought it might be some people might be interested to see, especially the engine work, because we'll probably land up getting into most of it while we're in there. You know, it probably makes sense to well, I'm going to do a compression test and see what I think the condition of the cylinders and the pistons and rings might be, and if it's if it's not 100% or well, if it's not good, then we may just do a full engine rebuild and be done with it. So yeah, as I say, if you're interested, let us know in the comments down below, and we'll go from there. But I think it'll certainly be an interesting series. Okay, let's move on. Just a little add-on here. One of the things that we also did, we celebrated Oscar's birthday during July, and he decided that he wanted some hand tools, hand power tools, for his birthday. So we talked about it, and we had a look at different options. He's been reading about the Milwaukee red lithium technology that they use in their batteries in particular, and also he's been reading about brushless motors. So he was quite enthralled by the Milwaukee brand, and in the end Kathy and I decided that it was probably, if you're going to do something like this, although he's only 10, that you may as well get a decent brand and something that will hopefully last him into his adulthood, and possibly all the way through his adulthood, let's see. But anyway, so Oscar wanted to talk a little bit about these. Do you want to tell us about them, Oscar?
Well, my favourite thing is that Dad has a massive drill, like that big, to drill concrete, whereas I just have to flip that, get the correct drill, and I can drill concrete with this thing. So that's one of my favourite things. Instead of having to use I can just use this. I also like how on the side of their batteries they've got little screw holes. So that little screwdriver holder used to be on there, but since I've got a screwdriver I thought it would fit more to have it on my screwdriver. So I just fitted it onto there instead of it being on there, because I thought it made more sense.
And what is that one, Oscar?
So this is a screwdriver.
It's an impact driver.
Okay, an impact driver.
Yeah. And what did you use it most recently for?
I used it for taking apart the starts of my go-kart.
No, I said most recently. What did you use it for on Saturday? Just outside here. You took the wheels off your quad bike.
Oh yeah, I took the wheels off my quad bike. And
why did you take your wheels off your quad bike?
well, I took them off because firstly the back ones were leaking, so we got them replaced. And then we had them on the wrong way round, so I took the front ones off and swapped sides.
Left to right and right to left.
Right to left.
Mm-hmm.
And then the same with the back.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing is, this was able to undo the tightened bolts and do them up again.
Mm. Indeed. Very good. So are you happy with these?
Yeah.
Cool. And tell us a lot about the batteries. Why did you want those batteries?
Well, I wanted these batteries because they are 5 amp hour. Most are, I think, 1.2 or something like that. 2
is about the average at the moment.
2 amp hour. And I saw they had 5 amp hour in a Screwfix dictionary. So.
Screwfix catalogue.
Catalogue, yeah.
Mm. And so why did you want the 5 amp hour?
I wanted them because they last longer and I won't have to charge them as much.
Mm-hmm. And tell us about the red lithium technology. What is it? What does it do? Do you remember?
No.
It's all about providing power right up to the last minute, and also keeping the batteries cool, right?
Mm.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Excellent. Now, obviously, continuing that trend, I have a Husqvarna 51 chainsaw, and it's been playing up recently. So we landed up deciding to buy a Milwaukee chainsaw as well, battery-operated chainsaw. And we used Oscar's 5 amp hour batteries for a bit, but and in fact we used them to bring down the big tree, and we'll show you the big tree in a minute. But it was a little bit painful because we had to keep on basically swapping batteries and getting the other one charged whilst we were trimming the tree down. Anyway, so I decided to go out, and we found 12 amp hour batteries, which is absolutely incredible considering my little impact driver is only a 2 amp hour. This Oscar's for his Milwaukee's a 5 amp hour, and these are 12. I mean, you can see they're massive in physical size, obviously. But what is amazing is that I bought 2, and in reality I probably only needed 1, because yesterday we used one basically to cut down, we must have made about 100, maybe 150 cuts with just one battery, and it was still only on 3 bars. It's got 4 bars on the indicator, and it was still only on 3. So in other words, it only used 1 bar to make those. Must have been, like I say, at least 100, if not more, cuts yesterday. Anyway, so very pleased with that. Some might they may poo-poo the kind of battery chainsaw, but I have to say I'm seriously impressed with this thing and how well it does. But anyway, that's just a little aside. So this is, when we talk about the big tree, this is the big tree that we took down. If I come around the side, the problem with it was that it was leaning. You can see how that trunk is leaning, and if you can imagine, there was a whole big tree sort of right out here. What we decided to do was to take it off there, to leave those couple of branches, that one that's going now obviously straight up, and a couple at the back there, just to see whether it will survive and whether that one will actually then flourish predominantly. But it was leaning so badly that it was A, dangerous, and B, it was actually getting to the point where I couldn't drive the tractor under here anymore, obviously in order to mow. So yeah, so that's when we talk about the big tree, and when we get up to the wood shed, we'll show you all the wood that came from that. We also took a couple of branches off here. You can see, again, let me just come to the side, it's easier to see from the side. So we took a big one off there. Again, that was leaning all the way over here, and much further out, kind of over here, it was hanging down, and again it was getting worse and worse every time I mowed. And then there was a little one over there as well we took off. And then really just to open this area up, we took a few. So these have all been coppiced at some point in the past, and so you had sort of 6 or 8 different stalks there. So what we've done, we've taken most of them off and just left those 2. So that's that one there. And then here, same sort of story. Again, took a bunch off there and just left these 2. Actually, there's a couple there at the back as well, but mostly those 2 there. And then we opened up here, and again just leaving that one at the back in front of that larger tree over there, just to clear the space open. So if you, again, all of these were leaning over the grassed area, but more importantly, when you move back a bit, you can see it just kind of opens that whole area up a little bit. Contrast that with this side of the paddock, which we've not yet done, and you can see how closed everything is. And we're going to do the same thing on that side. But anyway, this whole side of the paddock is now done. So literally all the way along here, all the way up to that corner, up there where Oscar was riding his quad bike a minute ago. Also way there in the very corner, we also landed up digging a ditch. Our neighbour came over with this digger, and we had to dig a ditch there because there is a hollow. You can see where we put all the chippings, where Oscar was riding through earlier. That floods every time it rains, and what we wanted to do was to provide a way for that to drain back into the Lee, which runs all the way along the back here, just behind these trees, and empties out onto the river over there. So hopefully that will help, and obviously the chippings are from all these branches and trees that we cut down, and the idea is slowly but surely we'll be raising that area, and eventually then the water should drain through that ditch back into the Lee, and then down the Lee and into the river, hopefully. That's the idea. Yeah, so that's the tree work we've been doing. We'll go up to the woodshed now and show you the product from that. So these are some of the trimmings from the trees. This is just today's that we got out, well, yesterday and today. We cut them down yesterday, trimmed them today, chipped all the side branches, and these are just the trunks that will be logged for firewood. So here we are in the woodshed now. So all of these are essentially the trunk from the big tree that we keep talking about. I don't remember what type of tree it was. I think it's some sort of lime or elder. I think it might be an elder. But so this is just from the trunk. It's obviously been split and now drying. Sorry about the light in here. It's not very well lit, but you can see there's quite a stack of wood just from the trunk. And then this is all the smaller stuff, which we basically just chopped into length and stacked in the corner there to dry for next winter's firewood. So this will stand now for probably about 14 months before we actually use it. And obviously we had to clear this area because this was originally full with the stuff from last winter, which last summer, which we will burn this winter. There's still some more there from last summer, which we still haven't cut. Unfortunately, a lot of it's rubbish. It's quite difficult to cut, and yeah. But anyway, we'll get through it. Well, there you go. That's pretty much all the things we've been up to for the past 4 months. I hope that was interesting to you. If you've got any questions about any of it, obviously we're always happy to try and answer those. But the main thing really, and again the main reason for the video, was to let you know that we're now restarting, and we'll soon be getting back into the Ferguson and get that sorted out. One other thing I never mentioned, I've noticed on the International I'm getting a little bit of noise coming from the curbside rear wheel, and I suspect it's probably a bearing. So at some point we'll need to get that in back into the workshop, pull that wheel off, and see what's going on inside there. I'm a little bit loath to do it at the moment because the way the grass is growing at the moment, we really have to mow every week. So I'm trying to see if I can string it out until at least towards the end of the season, and then we'll see what's going on inside there. And of course, I know I promised you all a video on servicing the brakes on the International, and of course that would be the ideal time to do it as well. So I'm trying to eke it out as much as I can towards the tail end of the season, so that the grass doesn't get out of control. Anyway, listen, I hope that you've enjoyed that. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to the next video where we will start and get started again on the engine for the Ferguson. You may recall, and if you go back on our videos on the channel, you'll see that we completely stripped the engine, we cleaned everything. We have all the parts. All the parts have been sponsored by Anglo Agri Parts, and once again, I really do encourage you to visit them. Have a look at their website, give them a call if you need to speak to somebody, and do buy your parts from them. The discount code that we shared in, I think it was in the last video, if not in the last one, then the one before that, that is still valid. That's valid all the way through to the end of the year. And what I might do is just show you an image of that right at the end of this video. So if you're interested in that, that gives you a 10% discount. That's for non-trade customers only. Yeah, make sure that you put your discount code provided at the time of order. They can't do it retrospectively, so please don't forget about that. And yeah, give them a call if you need to speak to them about something. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers for now.